Warning: the following content contains a lot of spoilers. If you don't want to get spoiled, feel free to click off this video and watch a different video of mine. You're free to come back here after you completed the anime. Viewers' discretion is advised. I am never watching this anime again. After this review video, I won't be watching this anime and I won't be thinking about it anymore. Before I explain why, let's get right to the introduction. Enjeru Beats is an original anime series created by Jun Maeda. There is also a light novel series and 5 different manga, but they are not important for me to talk about here. So the anime series was released in 2010 and lasted only 13 episodes. It was animated by PA Works, an animation studio that also animated Iroduku. Alright, let's get right to the plot. We start the anime with a guy named Otonashi, and he's dead. But he wakes up in a different world where he sees a girl named Yuri, and Yuri has a sniper rifle aimed at the student council president. Yuri also attempts to recruit Otonashi into her organization, but Otonashi doesn't listen and decides to talk to the student council president. She tells Otonashi that everyone is dead, including him, but he doesn't believe her, so she ends up impaling him. However, he doesn't die, he's still alive, but out of nowhere, a random member of Yuri's organization cuts Otonashi many times, and he ends up in the room where Yuri's organization is. So after a while, Otonashi gives in and decides to join Yuri's organization and starts meeting up with every member. I will be skipping most of the parts in every member mentioned since they aren't too important to talk about here. So I will say this. Yuri explains her backstory of when she was alive in the real world to Otonashi. One day, when Yuri was home alone with her 3 younger siblings, robbers broke into her home and demanded that Yuri find the values her parents had and hand them over to the robbers since she was the oldest sibling, but she didn't know where her parents kept those values, so unfortunately, the robbers killed her 3 younger siblings. The reason for Yuri's death is not disclosed here, so I cannot say anything about that. There is this other member of Yuri's organization named Iwasawa, who also tells Otonashi her backstory. She was a girl who wanted a great music career, but her parents were the problem. Her parents would get into bad fights and arguments, and when she tried to stop her parents from fighting, her dad hit her in the head with a bottle, making her suffer from head trauma, where she eventually dies from it. Here's the emotional part that happens to her in the afterlife. She performs at the school one last time her new song. After she finished performing it, she disappeared from the afterlife where she can finally rest in peace. Oh yeah, about the student council president, she finally reveals her name during the time the exams have started. Her name is Kanade, and Yuri planned that she wanted to make Kanade fail her exams, so she and her organization members all helped, and they eventually succeeded since her vice president role was replaced with another student named Naoi. Naoi would start acting villainously against Yuri and her organization for a while, until Otonashi goes and confronts him to remember his memories when he was alive, and that's when he starts becoming an ally of Otonashi and everyone else. Naoi's memories were about how he had a twin brother who died and Naoi was a replacement for him, and he lived under a strict dad. By the way, Naoi can use hypnosis, so he uses it on Otonashi so he can remember his memories when he was alive. And here is what happened. Otonashi had a younger sister named Hatsune, and she was the only family member that he had alive and was on his side. Hatsune suffered a terminal illness and was hospitalized for a long time, until eventually she died from the illness. Otonashi then had a wish to attend medical school to become a doctor, but that came crashing down when he was taking a train to the exam he was going to participate in, when an earthquake struck and caused the whole train to crash. Otonashi in the afterlife would then start feeling sad about remembering his time when he was alive, so he would later spend his time in the afterlife with everyone else. Kanade would also become an ally of Yuri and her organization after Otonashi invited her to come along. Later on, Yuri is all wounded, and it turns out there is another clone of Kanade, so the real and the fake Kanade start fighting, and they end up stabbing each other. Kanade would be taken to the nurse's office, where she would be taken away, so Yuri starts a rescue mission to bring Kanade back alongside her organization. So after a while, Yuri and Otonashi rescue Kanade and transfer all of her clones into her body, making her go unconscious. Otonashi would go inside the room with Kanade on the bed, so he could wait for her to wake up. Otonashi falls asleep and he dreams about what happens after the train crash he got into before dying. He ended up surviving alongside many other passengers. Since he was someone who wanted to be a doctor after his sister's passing, he helped all the surviving passengers. After a week, the rescue team arrived, but sadly, Otonashi died before the rescue team could recover him. Kanade would then wake up all normal and better, and since Kanade woke up, Otonashi tells her something. He wants to help everyone move on from the afterlife, which was Kanade's goal this whole time from the start. Oh yeah, Kanade and Naoi are now back to their previous positions, student council president and the vice president. Anyways, Otonashi starts with a girl named Yui to complete her wishes. I'm not going through every wish she wanted to do, but Otonashi helped her achieve all of them. After that, she had one more wish. She wanted to marry someone. Once she announced that, a guy named Hinata showed up and told her that he would marry her and that he was in line about it. Yui would complete all her wishes and then disappear. Hinata then decides to join Otonashi and help him with everyone else moving on from the afterlife. During the last few episodes, the organization would get attacked by unknown shadow monsters, but before the organization could defeat them, a large group of Yuri's organization all decided to move on from the afterlife, so they all disappeared. So that means the rest of the organization attacks the shadow monsters. But it all ends when Yuri goes inside a hidden room with stolen computers and starts shooting at all of them, ending the madness once and for all. 3 days later, Otonashi, Yuri, Kanade, Hinata, and Naoi are the last 5 remaining after all the other members moved on and disappeared. So they hold a graduation ceremony with an anthem, diplomas, and a speech. At the end of the ceremony, everyone disappears. First, it's Naoi, second, it's Yuri, and third, it's Hinata. Now it's only Otonashi and Kanade left. Otonashi would then confess his love to Kanade before she disappears, making Otonashi the last person in the afterlife. In the end, we're in another world where it shows a girl who looks like Kanade humming to Iwasawa's song, which I mentioned earlier, and we also see a boy who looks like Otonashi, which means the anime ends with the boy about to tap the girl's shoulder, but the screen turns white before we can see that happen. I know there is an alternative ending, but I don't like that ending. I prefer the ending I was explaining, but either way, never again will I go back to this anime. Let's move on to the animation. The animation is alright, but I still appreciate PA Works animation since I enjoy the colors they use. In this example, I like it, but it was kinda bright for me. Not that I don't like it. I usually don't enjoy animation bright like that, but I won't blame them too much. Let's move on to the opening and ending themes. The opening is great. I love the piano used as the instrument for the song. I also love Leah's voice she had when she performed this song. The ending is emotional as expected, but I still like how it is since it fits the vibe. This ending is performed by Aoi Tada. Let's move on to the voice acting. The voice acting. I don't really have much to say other than it was pretty emotional and touching with how the voice actors and actresses put their heart and soul into voicing sadness in the anime. If they cried in real life while voicing the characters, extremely understandable why they are crying. Let's move on to the pacing. Wow, the pacing was extremely fast. Despite how long each episode was, the anime went extremely quickly, and I completed it in no time. I have never watched an anime that took like 5 minutes, so I approve it. Time for my final review. Time for my final review on Angel Beats. I'm placing Angel Beats on It's in Between, I don't care. Behind My Senpai is Annoying. For your information, this ranking is also based on whether I would watch the anime again or not. And in this case, I will not watch this anime ever again, as I said before. Time for my outro. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. And please follow my socials in the description down below. And you may be wondering, where's the wheel? Well, stay tuned for next week because I am reviewing Season 1 of Blue Lock for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Until then, this is Enjeru signing off.